Hi students, in this video we are going to discuss about architecture of 8085 microprocessor. So to start with, microprocessor has some general purpose register, temporary register and special purpose register. So we'll start with general purpose register. So there are 6 general purpose registers, namely we have B register, C, D, E, H and L. So all these registers are 8-bit registers. 8-bit registers means they can store 8-bit values like starting from 0 to 255. Why are they called as 8-bit values? Because 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 till I can store up to 1111 1111. These are in binary. If I convert this to decimal, I'll be getting it as 255. So from 0 to 255, the values can be stored in 8-bit registers. They can be separately used as a 8-bit register, or we can combine them and you can use it in pairs like BC, DE and HL. In that case, they will act as a 16-bit register. So when used as 16-bit register, the higher order bytes will get stored on the first register and the lower order bytes get stored in the second register. HL register pair, we also call that as memory pointer or data pointer. They are also called as scratch pad register. Next is temporary register. So temporary register forms one of the input to your arithmetic and logic unit. It is internally used by your processor during most of the arithmetic and logic operation, and it cannot be accessed by the programmer. For example, let's consider an arithmetic instruction add C. So this instruction will add the contents of C register with the contents of accumulator. Arithmetic logic unit has 2 inputs. So one data will always be in accumulator. In this add C command, the other data is in C register. So what happens is the data from C register is transferred to the temporary register and then it is sent to the ALU. Next register is W1Z register, which is not mentioned in this diagram. So you have temporary register W and Z. So these temporary 8-bit registers are used to hold data during the execution of certain instructions. So these registers cannot be accessed by the programmer and they are used internally only by the processor. Next are the special purpose register. The first special purpose register is accumulator. So whatever arithmetic or logic operation you want to perform, one of the data has to be in the accumulator by default, and also the result of your arithmetic and logic operation will be stored back in the accumulator, and hence we also call it as A register or accumulator register. Next is flag flip-flops or flag register. So flag register is it is an 8-bit register. It has 5 flags, namely sign flag, zero flag, auxiliary carry flag, parity flag, and carry flag. Sign flag. So sign flag will be set when the result of an arithmetic or logical operation is a negative number. Set means it will have the value 1, and it will be reset if the result is a positive number. Reset means it will have a value 0. Similarly, zero flag will be set when the result of your arithmetic or logical operation is 0, and it resets if the result is a non-zero number. Auxiliary carry number. So for this, we'll have an example something like this. So I'm going to add these two numbers. So I hope you know the binary addition. In binary addition, 1 plus 1 is nothing but 1 0. Similarly, 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1 1. So here 1 plus 1 is 1 0. So 1 is carried here. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 1 1. Again 1 is carried here. So here, say split this number into 2. Okay, 4 digits here, 4 digits here. So it starts from D0, D1, etc. till D7. So when there is a carry between D3 and D4, if there is a carry here, then auxiliary flag will be set. If there is no carry here, then the auxiliary flag will be reset. Parity flag, this flag is set when the result of your arithmetic or logical operation has even number of ones. For example, in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 ones. So the parity flag will be set. Otherwise, it will be reset. Carry flag. So when there is an overflow out of the bit D7. For example, in this case, here 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 11. So 1 is here and there is an overflow of bit. In this case, the carry flag will be set. Okay, otherwise it will be reset. So this is all about your flag register. Then we have 16-bit registers like program counter and stack pointer. So program counter is used to store the address of the instruction that has to be executed next. So once a particular instruction is executed, the microprocessor increments the value of the program counter by 1. Stack pointer is also a 16-bit register that acts as a memory pointer. It is a portion of RAM. Stack pointer maintains the address of the last byte that is entered into the stack. So each time when the data is loaded into the stack pointer gets decremented. Similarly, when a data is retrieved from the stack pointer gets incremented. Then we have arithmetic and logic unit. We call it as ALU. It is responsible for all your arithmetic and logical operations. It performs arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, etc., increment, decrement, etc., and also logical operations like AND, OR, XOR, etc. And then you have instruction register, instruction decoder, and machine cycle encoding. So the data from the instruction register is where you have instructions. From instruction register, the instruction from the instruction register is moved on to the instruction decoder. The decoder decodes the instruction and it sends timing and control signal to the control the register, ALU, data buffers, external peripheral signals, depending on the nature of the instruction. Then we have address buffer and address data buffer. So address buffer, it is a 8-bit unidirectional buffer used to drive external high order address bus. Address or data bus, it is a bidirectional buffer that is used to drive multiplex address data bus. And then coming to timing and control signal block, we have clock out. So this signal is used as a clock for the user. Its frequency is equal to half of the crystal frequency. Next, we have something called as ready. This signal is used by the microprocessor to check whether a peripheral is ready to transfer data or not. If ready is high, then the peripheral is ready for data transfer. If the ready is low, then the microprocessor has to wait. Peripheral is nothing but an external device connected to your microprocessor. And then under control, we have RD bar, WR bar, and ALE. So in RD bar, when 0 is sent to RD bar, that indicates that the sent data must be read from the memory location, or the data must be read from the input output port through the data bus. Similarly, when WR bar is equal to 0, that means data must be written into the memory location, or it must be written into the IO port, that is input output port, through the data bus. And then we have something called as ALE. ALE means, like here if you see the address and data buffer, we have AD7 to AD0 that can be used as both address bus or data bus. That is, address can also be transferred through it, or data can also be transferred through it. So when the data is transferred through those buses, we do not know whether it is an address or data. So for that, we have ALE. That is, when ALE is equal to 0, that means the data transferred is a it's a data bus is enabled. Whatever value we are sending, it is a data. When ALE is equal to 1, then whatever value we are sending, it is nothing but the address bus will be enabled. And then we have hold and HLDA. Hold is nothing but this signal will indicate that the external device is requesting to access the address and data bus. Okay, HLDA means the microprocessor indicates that I have received the hold signal. So HLDA means hold acknowledgement. So it will say that I have received your hold signal. Okay. And then we have reset in and reset out. Reset in is used to reset the entire microprocessor. That is, the program counter of the microprocessor is set to 0. Reset out is used to reset the other devices that is connected to the microprocessor. We have interrupt control. Interrupt is to stop something. So when a microprocessor is executing something, and if I want to stop that particular work, and if I want to execute some other work, then I can give interrupt signal. Okay. For interrupt signal also, we have something called as INTA. INTA is nothing but interrupt acknowledgement. So the signal sent by the microprocessor to acknowledge an interrupt signal is called as INTA. Finally, we have serial IO control. So this is used to either receive a serial data or to transfer serial data. Serial data means sending data bit by bit. For example, if in this case 0000 something, we have in this case each bit will be sent one by one. First, the first 0 will be sent. So next, the other 0 will be sent. So it will be sent in order. So that is called as serial input and serial output data. So with this, we have completed architecture of microprocessor 8085 microprocessor. Thank you for watching the video.